Hi guys, and welcome to Taylor Talk. So I'm gonna go over and review Anthony Padilla's interview with Kris Tyson. So if anybody doesn't know who Kris Tyson is, he is the member of the Mr. Beast team. He is one of Mr. Beast's best friends. So recently he has come out as transgender. He said that he doesn't care about the pronouns. You know, he or she. It doesn't really matter. He's recently come out, and there's been, of course, as with things like this, there's been a lot of controversy, especially with the video of Sunny V2 that basically spent 15 minutes demonizing and making fun of Kris's transition. So we're just going to take a look at this video about Kris talking about his life and his story, and I'm guessing the whole process of coming out as a transgendered person. So in his case, Kris is in the process of transitioning from male to female, and he is currently on hormone treatment. So let's take a look at Kris and Anthony.
Scared of saying I'm a woman and then instantly hearing no you're not, because in my head I fought with that every day.
Okay, Kris Tyson, she/her, YouTube creator, 2.6 million followers.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Visit betterhelp.com/Padilla because sometimes existing is exhausting. And if you want to watch this episode completely ad-free, no sponsors, and completely uncensored, click the join button down below to become a member. Anyway. Hello, Kris.
Hello, Anthony.
You have been a part of Mr. Beast's videos since the inception, pretty much?
Basically, I was there when he created the channel. I was his first subscriber.
Were you also his bestie?
Bestie, yeah. We grew up, we sat at the same lunch table. We were kind of the only kids who talked about like YouTube and video games.
So a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, you know, the nerds. But so we would hang out afterwards, film videos together, and we just fell in love with doing it.
Yeah, I feel like the earliest videos you guys made really were capturing that friendship.
It was just us just doing whatever we could think of it, because there was no rules back then. There was no like algorithm or anything. It was just whatever you could film, put it on YouTube.
Wow, he looks so different. Well, Kris, back then, as a man, looks so different.
And the videos have blown up to the point where now they are consistently getting over 100 million views each.
It's crazy.
And which is just, I can't even fathom how many people that looks like.
I can't either.
And you are in almost every video.
Yeah.
You kind of became Kris, the guy from Mr. Beast.
Exactly. It was actually, for the longest time, my Twitter bio was the guy in Mr. Beast videos. And then about a year and a half ago, it turned into sometimes I'm in Mr. Beast videos.
Oh, so the guy part was removed?
It was, yeah, that was removed a long time ago.
Like, was that anticipating?
Yeah, that was...
Wanting to detach from that identity?
Yeah, so for me, in my head, I was like, oh, people are going to instantly start asking questions if I did that. Because, like, when you're trans, you think everybody knows you're trans.
Yeah, it's like when you're high.
Yeah, exactly like it. But so I took it out and I was like, oh no, people are gonna know. Nobody ever said anything. So I was like, that was my first step, and I was like, okay.
Kris looks very put together here.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, I feel like about maybe 6 months to a year ago, I started to see a change in your appearance.
Yes.
You started to look a little
He definitely looks a lot slimmer.
bit less masculine, a little bit less beardy.
Yeah.
At the exact same time, you look like you were glowing, like you were more excited, like your posture was better, like you were like excited about life. Yeah, it was weird. I didn't realize how unhappy you looked beforehand.
Yeah.
Looking up old pictures of you, I searched old pictures of you, and you could see a dramatic shift.
But it wasn't a real smile. It was a...
He may have just been one of those people that just don't smile in photos.
And it was a performance smile. I mean, because, like, was I sad every single day during those times? No, but, like, in the back of my head, it was something I constantly felt like I wasn't being true to myself. I wasn't being true to the people who are fans of me, because I was hiding my true self from them. And the thing that was really keeping me for so long away from, like, who I truly am is how people would react. I was so scared of, like, I'm from a small town in a conservative area. So when I was younger, I was like, this little bubble is my entire world. How will they react? Then I got a little older. I was like, maybe one day. And then I got famous, and my bubble
Yeah, but then your bubble just gets bigger, I guess.
went from this small little town to hundreds of millions of people.
You've had a lot of people speculating on your gender.
Yes.
You know, just you growing out your hair.
Yeah.
I mean, today you showed up fully
I did.
presenting
I did.
Fully presenting. I mean, she looks good. She looks great.
as a woman.
I did, because I am a woman.
Oh,
Yay.
Yeah, she, her.
You've never said that before, right?
I've never said that publicly.
Wow. So, Kris is officially she/her. Officially. Again, it's like she's coming out.
No, but I've been fully like confident in that decision for over a year now. My idea was to kind of play catch up with the internet in the way that I discover myself. Like you were talking about, 6, 7, 8 months ago, my hair started growing out, all those kind of things. I wasn't quite sure exactly who I was yet, but I knew I was not cisgender. So I needed the freedom to be able to express myself and be able to figure out who I was.
I wonder when he came out to the Mr. Beast group.
And so for a while, I was trying gender fluid. I was like, what is making me feel like I'm bi-gender? What is tying me to this, masculinity? And really, it was after a lot of talking with a therapist and a lot of like self reflection, I realized it was really just the society.
I wonder how much therapy Kris has had in the past.
Pressure of, you're Kris from Mr. Beast. You're the guy that starts the fires. You're the guy that builds the stuff, And like my whole life, I've enjoyed doing those things, but
And you can still do those things, even as a woman.
I've never really felt like the guy.
Yeah, and that becomes so intrinsically connected with who you are that it felt like it was shattering everything.
Exactly. And I was scared that people would think that I'm magically going to become a different person. But for me, I have I'm very proud of who I was and how I've gotten here. It took me a long time to get here.
Yeah.
But
I'm guessing.
finally here, so I'm not ashamed of all of that or anything. I'm actually really proud of it.
YouTube is easier with TubeSpanner. When it comes to growing and managing your YouTube channel, there are a lot of moving parts.
There's been a huge reaction to this.
Yep, you're telling me. I'm not even familiar with Mr. Beast. I do Go World and MMA, but even because this was so huge, even I knew about it. I didn't even know who Mr. Beast was until this whole situation, honestly.
Like people are like, their minds are blown that something like this happened.
I knew there was going to be a big reaction, but I thought it would stay like in that YouTube, everything.
It's like tabloid
But it's everywhere.
culture now.
Yeah.
It's like every single thing
Yeah.
has some kind of headline about you and what it means and the
I wonder how she feels about it.
effects on Mr. Beast and all these different things.
It was crazy. I was trying to take a break. I was like, okay, it's not affecting me too bad, but I don't need to consume all this media and attention of myself. I'll delete all my social media. And then I get on Google and I go to open a new tab, and Google will recommend me articles about myself.
Like, you love Mr. Beast and Kris Tyson.
Yeah.
And here's this thing
I'm like,
about people
please,
hating you.
Please stop. I don't want to know about it.
Yeah. So you're just constantly being fed articles with headlines that are just blatantly wrong, right? They're lies.
And not only, it's like, it wasn't all hate and it wasn't all support. It was from both
Kris's hair is as healthy as anything. It's super shiny,
sides. But
super healthy.
there was also like a lot of people just, they don't really know how to talk about trans people. So instantly they're like, Kris Tyson comes out as a trans woman. Good for them. And I'm like,
Even though you just said HRT,
yeah,
right?
I'm like, no, I didn't yet.
Yeah. Yet. Until today.
Yeah, until today. With Anthony.
I mean, I feel like we should just take a moment on that. Like, how does that feel, publicly saying in front of cameras that you are a woman?
For the longest time, to even say it to some of the closest friends, it would make me like, my hands shake to say it. I would get so nervous.
Of course, people that have known you your entire life as male.
But now I can say I'm a woman. I'm happy to say I'm a woman. It's something that's honestly so freeing. And I think that is part of what the HRT did for me, was being able to accept myself and being able to look in the mirror and say, yes, you are a woman.
Every single person has something about themselves that they kind of want to be more of.
Yeah.
You know, and
Feel
then
a
there's
little insecure about.
yeah, even if it is just lacking confidence.
Yeah.
Even if it's just I want to be a little bit more confident in myself.
Yeah.
Here you are in front of hundreds of millions of people who have been criticizing you for every single reason in the book, and you're focusing on the way that you feel when you are most true to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if your way to confidence is to wear a dress, wear a dress. If your way to confidence is to get so
And you don't have to be trans or a woman to wear a dress. Just saying.
swole, you look like a bodybuilder, do that.
Is that you're talking about Jimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy is getting really swole, isn't he?
Yeah, he is pumping, man.
You see his Twitter
He
feed?
is jacked.
He is jacked.
He's getting there, man.
Came out of nowhere until I get my hands on him
Oh,
and I Kris affect him.
Watch out, the Kris effect. Isn't that wild that people say there's the Kris effect, the Carl effect? Like one person can change or like infect the other brains of the
Yeah.
other friends.
I mean, I've always joked that there, and I hate that people will clip it, but there is a smidgen of truth to it. Because Carl came down to North Carolina, small town, and he had bright pink hair.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I was like, how do you have the confidence to like go to the grocery store and not feel like every single person is staring at you? And he's like, I don't care. And I was like, what?
What? You could not
What?
care what others think?
You can just not care?
Right.
Since when? I didn't get the update.
You know, there is a little bit of truth to the idea that a friend can come into a circle and they can show you what confidence looks like.
Yeah, they can show you what true confidence is, because for a while, like, I was like, yeah, I guess I'm confident, but it was all fake. It wasn't all real. And then I saw somebody come in and be themselves, and I was like, I want that. I want to be myself. And even though, like, I saw people make fun of Carl because of his hair, he would just shrug it off. I was like, I can do that. Maybe. Give it a couple of years.
You hear that, Carl? You inspired someone.
You did it.
You mentioned taking hormones, and you mentioned that it saved your life.
Yes. For so long, every day, I would go to bed and I would have
I wonder how long Kris has been on hormones now.
dreams, vivid dreams I was a woman, like my whole life. And I would wake up in the morning.
I wonder from like what age? Like when Kris was a kid or 13, you know, becoming a teenager? Like when did Kris start having these like fantasies of being a woman?
And it was just like getting ripped out of a reality that I didn't want to be taken out of.
So it was like the dream was the reality.
Yeah, there was times where I would just lay in bed all day and just sleep because it was more fun to do that, or more
Oh, that's so sad.
enjoyable to me to do that, because the real world, I didn't feel connected to it. I've really never felt connected to my body until I started taking HRT, and like I was amazed, like after 2-3 weeks I just started having a mental clarity that it felt like a fog that had been around me just went away, and I could see things clearly. I could feel confident in who I was. I knew who I was finally, surely, truly, without a shadow of a doubt. And that is what really saved my life, because for the longest time, you know, like in 2017, 2018, I started gaining weight. I got really depressed because I pretty much thought that there was no way I was going to be able to transition
Because he thought that the transgender dream that he had died.
ever, and I was just going to have to keep marching forward in a life
As a man, and he felt like he couldn't do it.
I didn't want to live. And I was just going to have to keep doing that
That's awful.
until I couldn't do it anymore.
And you do wonder, like, how many trans people out there today, how many teenagers, men or women, haven't transitioned and have felt the same way.
What was the internal battle like?
The thing I really felt hatred towards was myself for not understanding myself. Also, internalized transphobia just made me feel, you know, there's not a lot of trans people in general, but there's also not a lot of trans people in my area. So the only
Yeah, I guess. I wonder if he looked them up on YouTube
exposure I had to trans people and trans issues
when he was a man. I mean,
from, you know, the other end of the spectrum. And so I started to hate myself. I was like, oh, I'm pretending I'm lying. I like, and it took me so many years of, I ran away. I pretended it didn't exist. Multiple times I threw away every single pair of clothes I ever owned.
Yeah, that's so common.
Conversion therapy.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like you really did not want to be what you felt.
Oh my goodness.
Your core was your true self.
I thought it was a curse for all of my life, and it wasn't until I started taking HRT that I was like, this is not
What you were meant to do.
a curse. It's a blessing. Like, I can finally be myself.
Or did you have a moment when you first realized that the way that you identify with your gender was different than what was expected of you?
I was 6 years old. My sisters went to camp. My parents were in the living room. I told my parents that I was going to build a popsicle stick airplane in my room. And then I went to my sister's room and went in their closet and grabbed as much stuff as I can. And I locked my door and I turned on Arthur. And it was the episode where there was
All of this is so vivid in his brain.
ballerinas.
And this is what, like 20 plus years ago.
And I just
And she can remember it like it was yesterday.
pretended to be a ballerina and danced around my room. And from that moment on, I was like, I don't know what this is, but I know I need to hide it, because I don't think the people I don't remember exactly what made me hide it at such a young age.
Because at a young age, you still know what things should be, you know, what things your family would be okay with, and what things your family wouldn't be okay with.
But I think
Maybe gut instinct, you know?
it was just like, you know, growing up in that area, going to, you know, a very like very, very religious, well, all churches are religious, but this one was extra religious. Super religious.
Religious XXL?
Yeah, it was the premium. And because, like, the biggest thing is, for me...
Okay, guys, pause, and I'll be back for part 2. Thanks for watching.